the end of July and the color is just beautiful, particularly back here along the rock wall. All the hostas and the heuchera, the foliage, my favorite. It's the first year I'm finally happy with how much the perennials have filled in. I actually delimbed the branches that were hanging over the rock wall. It's just too much shade and looking a little messy. We've got some echinacea blossoming. And unfortunately, it's been so humid, we've got mealybugs in different parts of the yard. So I've got to treat a lot of different things this weekend. We've got the black-eyed Susans. And that's the cherry brandy variety. And this is just an old classic. And it's wet and soupy because it's been so rainy, which is part of why the gardens look so good. And the heat. And this new bed, kind of called the swamp garden, because in the spring it's swampy, or anytime we get a lot of rain, as you can tell. Work in progress. The cardinal flower is getting ready to bloom. And we have the gooseneck loosestrife, which I'm not quite sure where I want to put that permanently, so it's living in a pot. Oh, jerk. If you don't know me, you know that I despise chipmunks. And there's still some plants that haven't found their forever home. New hostas. And I love the foliage in this garden, particularly from the house. Super bright and pretty. That bucket was a chipmunk trap. That's how much I hate them. Anything I can do to get rid of them. Onions are ready kind of early. I've never grown onions, yet they're all kind of fallen over. So I gotta harvest those and dry them. Friend gave me okra seed, so I threw that in maybe 2 weeks ago. We've got some cukes, a couple different kinds coming along. Zucchini, terrible showing. It's just, I don't know, the bees aren't finding it to pollinate. Tithonia, Mexican sunflower, looks beautiful. My regular sunflowers, 2 of their heads got chewed off by deer, I'm assuming. I don't know why I bother trying to grow them. It never really works out. Bee bomb's looking ratty, but the bees love it. So happy. And I planted this lily this year. Harvested 2 of them. Ground cherry is huge. I have a second one. I don't even love the fruit that much. It's just fun, I think, is why I grow it. And we have my green zebra tomatoes. Super pretty. I believe this one is mortgage lifter. Tons of fruit. In the sweetie cherry tomato. Lots of fruit in this one. Finally getting a little bit of ripe ones. And as an afterthought, we have some beans. I threw a handful back here and clearly am not taking care of them, but we might get something. And then we have some glads that stayed in the ground. I missed digging those up last year and they overwintered. That's kind of a treat. And my marigold border looks a little better than it did last year. It's amazing how bushy and full they get back here. Here's another cuke, different kind. Not bad. This particular plant I had to reseed 3 times, I believe. We have spicy basil, which I'm not a fan of the flavor of that. I will probably use it for arrangements. And those were just dead tomatoes that were destined for the compost bin at work. So I thought I'd give them a try. Cut flower garden. Not as pristine as the veggie garden. However, it is a working garden, so it's here for me to cut from and not feel bad that I'm cutting the flowers. I cannot believe how many snapdragons I have coming out of here. The gomphrena is not quite ready. And we have zinnia of all different colors. And that's salpiglossis, cut flowers. They are gorgeous. I'm having a hard time cutting them before they've gone by because there's been so much rain that they get really ripped up. This is gomphrena. Looks like it's ready for me to harvest. And the salmon zinnia. Oh, so pretty. Ooh, Japanese beetle. And then in the back, we have amaranth. I planted several of those, and this is the only one that survived. It's going to be large, bushy, and that is one lone sunflower that I'm trying to save from the deer. And my beautiful quick fire hydrangea. This garden is also a work in progress. Way over there by the driveway is the potatoes that are ready to harvest. I checked them this morning and they're bursting through the soil. And this is mildly neglected up here. I've been away, so the Japanese beetles have moved in. I have to do a lot of hand picking for them. That is some of the salpiglossis and lantana behind it. and verbena, and the senecio, which is the silver foliage. Oh my gosh, there's so many Japanese beetles. I haven't been out here. Jerks. And they are going to town on my zinnias. Grrr. But the espalier apple looks awesome, aside from me not having it tied down to the trellis. More lantana down here. Bumblebee. And my super bright planter with the coleus, sun patiens, calibrachoa, mini supertunia. And my gutters are clogged, hence the downpour in my garden. Not awesome. Catmint that I need to finish cutting back, but the bees just keep coming to it, so I feel bad cutting it back. But they love it so much. And we have the vertigo, pennisetum, the king tut grass, my coleus, and all my different annuals in here, along with the barberry shrubs that I planted last year. These allium are new this year. This hydrangea looks awful. I think too much rain has made it crazy misshapen, and I even pruned it this spring, but clearly I didn't prune it hard enough because it's very tall and gangly and lopsided. So it's always fun to change out these annuals. I never know what's going to be the most successful. Last year we had wave petunias and supertunias. The supertunias were great most of the season. This year we tried angelonia, which is the purple, and that's doing really well. I don't know about the rest of it. And this little side garden, I always try something different here, and it's okay. I don't know that I love it, but it's colorful. So that's it, the end of the July.